Hi, I'm a data science consultant at a Big Four and I have masters in quantitative economics and B.Tech from IIT Kharagpur. And I have interviewed a lot of people for data science positions. So with that experience, I'll be telling you how to make a good data science resume. Now, how do you make a good data science resume? Obviously, you can list down your experiences, your skill sets, your programming knowledge, your data analysis experience, your Kaggle projects, and so on. But what really gives you a better impact? How the interviewer looks at your resume? How does he shortlist the resume? How does he take an interview from that resume? That's a vital piece of information which you must know. So let's get started with a basic run through of a good resume. A good resume must be truthful. If you are making a resume which has a bit of lies interspersed here and there, then you will be caught by a good interviewer. And that is from my experience as an interviewer at a Big Four. Now, obviously, I will give you this insight that always write truthful things, but that doesn't mean it would be bland. You have to put in some flavor in those data points or information which you pack in your resume. So first and foremost, you have to identify yourself as which type of data scientist you are. The data science job profile has three flavors into it. One is the modeler. The modeler is a person who is primarily interested in the statistics behind the data science, who develops the models, who makes the model perform better. Now he chooses which model to use, what data to use, and what should be the number of observations, which features to use, and things like those. Now you can also think of yourself as a data engineer, so you have to position yourself as a data engineer in your resume. So how do you take in data? How do you ingest data? How do you filter columns and rows? How do you basically all the processes involved in ETL, extract, transform, load. So you need to know how to get data, from which sources to get data, and how to interact with data scientists so that you become an asset to a good data science team. So you have to know a lot about SQL, Oracle, and a lot about databases and how to take in data and push in data. Third part is your implementation person, or I can also club the implementation with ML engineer. Now the implementation or ML engineer's job is to implement the models built upon the data science and data engineering work. Now the statistical data science modeler work plus data engineering work gives you the foundation for implementation. Now that implementation obviously means deploying the model. So you have to position yourself as a deployment expert or an implementation expert in your resume. So having understood these things, all your resume must start with an educational background. Now that's a pretty vanilla piece of information. You cannot add any spice to that. After you put in your education, then you have to punch in your spice. How do you add more information? You can punch in your certifications, your courses, projects, anything related to data science, data engineering, or implementation or deployment of the models. Now next comes your internships and work experiences. Now always and always mention the internships and work experiences which are related to the skill which you are aiming towards, data science, data engineering, or the deployment person. Now it may happen that you may not have sufficient skills and sufficient experiences mix. So you have to try to read a bit about what skills you are targeting towards and what kind of experience you need, and try to relate your experience with what you want to do. Now a good example of this would be, if let's say you have built models and you have not deployed models, but you want to position yourself as an implementation person. So you want to transition yourself from being a modeler to an implementation person. Now how do you do that? So read about what all implementation task was performed in your project, in the project where you have developed the model, and then try to put in few lines related to how the model was deployed or implemented, and in the while do learn about that, because if in an interview somebody asks you that how was that implemented, you must have answers to such questions. And trust me, you do not need to be an expert in everything, you just have to be truthful and aware about what all is happening. A basic resume format would look like this. Now, obviously, you should not make a resume by copy pasting from a format. You should have your own resume format, but it should have mainly education, your certifications, your work experience, your extracurricular activities. Now, it is up to you how you make that, and I won't go to the usual problems with CVs or resumes that you have to have correct grammar, you have to check the spelling errors, you have to check if all the numbers are correct. Those are automatically implied. You cannot afford to make rookie mistakes in data science resume, and there are tons of videos on how to make a good resume, so I won't go to give you that generic piece of gyan on resume. But just for specifically data science resume, this is what I wanted to tell you, that think about where do you want to position your career towards: data science, the modeler person, data engineering, the data transformation ETL role, or the implementation guy, ML engineer. And after you have identified this, try to position your skills and work experience according to that choice, and also put in a bit of extra academic, so that if, let's say, your interview is not going well, the interviewer generally gives you one or two chances to prove yourself, because ultimately it's not that your resume will work in the company, it is you who will work in the company. And if you are teachable, if you are devoted, then you can perform well in any tasks you do. So make a well-rounded, truthful resume, and do not worry about what you do not have, but think about how you can sell yourself and your skills in the data science job market. And yes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want more videos on data science and how to get data science jobs, how to learn data science and related stuff.